Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Weil, too.
So, funny how things work, folks. This week we're talking about a recent Star Wars venture, and look what's around the corner trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. What a world! Am I right? So, yes, we're here talking about the long-awaited Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser, and we're going to give our reactions. We're going to do a little breakdown of it. There's not a whole lot there, but yeah, this has been kind of one in the pipeline that for one, I've been really looking forward to. It's not really turning into what I've always kind of dreamed of, but it looks like something pretty impressive nonetheless. Jacob, what were your thoughts on the Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser?
Overall, I thought the teaser does look pretty interesting. I mean, it ends it to gives us a general idea of what's going on with in the state of what's happened. I mean, it interestingly didn't give us a glimpse of it, give us a visual glimpse of Darth Vader, even though it did give us an audio cue of Darth Vader.
Well, to be fair, it does play a lot better than Mahershala Ali off screen.
Kinda, I guess.
Yeah.
But
everyone and their mother knows what Vader looks like. It'll just be more Vader.
Yes.
Yeah.
But funny is that the fact that it actually did straight up more confirm that we will be seeing Vader in this.
Which makes sense. So here's the thing. So I've been waiting for this show and just this story in general for a long time because for one, I love the 3.5 era of Star Wars. Ever since the prequels happened, it's like, I always liked, again, not an original opinion, I'm sure, but I always liked, Revenge of the Sith out of the prequels because, it kind of tees up that 3.5 space. So like, okay, Origin of Vader, which was the big thing I cared about with those prequels, and it kind of leaves the mind to wander. Like, man, imagine the interactions in the building that would go on from the Empire just kind of shifting over. Like, we went from the Republic to we're going full Imperial, we're taking over. It's kind of a tragedy in a regard. Like, that to me, really interesting. Of course, basically Darth Vader like cementing the side that he picked. All that stuff was always interesting to me. And one of the aspects of that story that we're definitely diving into here with all that is Obi-Wan's on Tatooine. We're seeing him become the known hermit. We're going to see him coin the phrase, coin the new name Ben Kenobi at some point in this show. Man, he's going to go into hiding. He's been hiding for 10 years, I believe, at least when we check in the show. Given that Luke appears to be like a 10-year-old kid, if memory and just kind of what I've seen serves me here. I mean, I always wanted, Jay. I don't know about you, personally. What I always hoped for with an Obi-Wan story, kind of in this 3.5 space. I guess it's more. No, I guess it's 3. It's 10 years. So it's roughly 3.5, whatever, what have you. I always hoped for like a Western with Obi-Wan, with the usual Star Wars aesthetic, like Shane, like Obi-Wan's like the drifter who comes into town, and he's like, oh, hey, who's that weird hermit we don't talk about, and he kind of saves the day from maybe like the Hutt crime families. What always kind of I kind of dreamed of.
We kind of already got hints of that with Mando and Boba Fett.
I know, so because of that, I don't think we're going there here. Which, I mean, deep down, little deflated, but hey, we got our players back. We got McGregor back, and again, we have very much the Luke component. So there's still things to play with, and we're definitely going with like kind of what's a character's headspace. I mean, let me put it this way: I was going with like a Western mindset with this show, but ultimately, what this Obi-Wan show, and this is a high bar, folks. Don't expect it to fully go here, but let's just say perfect dream world. Obi-Wan could be kind of like a Better Call Saul, like origin kind of tale of sorts. Of like, this is how he gets to the end point. This is like the building of that big transition for that character. It goes from like, okay, so kind of like a reverse Better Call Saul to a degree, perhaps.
It also has like a kind of espionage look to it too.
It does, which I did not expect. So that was also quite interesting. I think the teaser's a little minimal from what the footage that we do see, but bear in mind, again, is a teaser. So with that in mind, you're not going to see a whole lot like a Vader.
And it's almost, I mean, they don't really want to show much considering it's only like 6 episodes?
Probably. I mean, that's they keep going wonky with these dates because not the dates, with the number of episodes because of like how much time they've shot for like Boba Fett's 6-7 episodes. Mando traditionally 8, so this probably going to be. It says limited series, which implies to me 6, but I don't know. I don't know officially what the number is.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, did you ever see? I'm sorry. Before we go in further, I've never talked to you about this. I don't think I have. And did you ever see the Kenobi short film done by Jamie Costa, the impressionist actor? Do you ever see that short film?
I can't say that I have.
Really good. I recommend you check it out. Kind of a litmus test for this sort of thing. And also, he did another great Star Wars fan film called Solo: A Smuggler's Tale, I think, or something along that line. A smuggler's story, a smuggler's tale. It's basically him again being the master impressionist that he is. Does a flawless Harrison Ford as well as a flawless Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it's quite impressive. Anywho, so I'm sure Jamie Costa's been posting a lot of stuff, like obviously in support and just kind of marveling at the show as well, while he's doing his own Obi-Wan stuff at the moment. Anywho, perhaps we should start breaking things down unless you have anything else you want to say, Jacob.
Nothing really comes to mind at the moment.
Okay, so we're going to break it down. If folks, you have any thoughts or opinions you want to share, just I'll read them out and we'll discuss them. But we're going to go through in a linear fashion here. So we're gonna start a little presentation.
All right. Our feature presentation begins.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Or our trailer presentation begins.
Yeah.
Going full screen.
Okay. All right. So you see, we are on Tatooine, familiar stomping ground in the land of Star Wars.
I know a lot of people are like saying, "Oh, Tatooine again," but it's like, well, yeah, it's kind of like the central hub.
For sure. Again, it's where it all starts, and ultimately, as George Lucas has kind of decided, it all starts here. Even when we go back in time, it all starts in Tatooine. It's like right in the middle of nowhere.
Tatooine, a little desert planet in the middle of nowhere, turns out to be one of the most important planets in the history of the galaxy.
Epicenter of the galaxy.
Yeah.
All right, so again, we're on Tatooine, and 10 years have passed, presumably. Obi-Wan is a very defeated man. We get some dialogue here of him very defeatistly saying, "It's done. We lost." Possibly talking to another Jedi. We're not quite sure. He's either talking to another Jedi, maybe Uncle Owen. It's unclear.
You can definitely see the Western vibes you were discussing earlier. I'm going to turn off the captions.
What is very...
Actually, I'll keep the captions on.
Yeah, yeah. It's, of course, very easy to do when you're when you're on Tatooine, which, as we've seen many times in Mando, lends itself to the Western.
And there's nothing really wrong with going Western. I mean, space and Western blends itself actually surprisingly well.
Surprisingly, yeah. Lawlessness, open space. How can you get more open space than actual space?
And it's obviously a dark time for the Republic, for the people and everything.
Yep, we have. I believe that's Obi-Wan on kind of an alien camel of some kind, kind of going out to the desert to live in a cave. Again, Obi-Wan kind of shifts from like kind of hermity shacks to caves, and I forget if he upgrades to like kind of like a cabin. And do you remember where he's staying in A New Hope? Do you remember what that place was like? Was it a cave or was it like a little more of like a building?
It's been a while, but I think it was it had amenities, so I'm assuming it was like some kind of small building.
Yeah, but also I've seen some stuff where he has he has like amenities in a cave. But I think you're right, because I think there was some architecture there. I'm pretty sure you're right. Okay, so Tom Beast is in the comments right now. We're gonna shout him out. He says, "Hi guys, and I wonder how Obi-Wan currently feels about the events of Clone Wars, like Ahsoka left the Jedi Order or forcing Anakin to spy on Palpatine."
And that actually be explored within this series, because we know that Anakin and Obi-Wan will come to blows in this series. I mean, that much has been confirmed.
There is a question of a flashback component with this show. Now, after Boba Fett, I'm sure we don't want to make, like 4 out of the 6 episodes flashback components, mind you. But still, there's a lot of the fact that we're getting Hayden Christensen in this series. We know he's going to be in the suit, but additionally, if we have Hayden Christensen, we might as well see him unscarred, which could lend itself to a flashback or two. Which bears the question: do you think if we see Ahsoka, we're going to cast a different actress, because Ahsoka was much younger in Clone Wars than she was in something like Rebels, or more accurately, Mando?
I mean, it's hard to say, really. I mean, so I wonder what they could do with with both makeup and CG.
I mean, they could de-age her because we kind of been doing that with everyone else, and it's so funny. Like, it'd be ridiculous if like we aged the kid up to look. It's like, okay, well, we can't de-age the kid for Luke because he's 10 years old this time. But what we can do is we can age him up to look exactly like Mark Hamill. I'm kidding.
That'd be
I'm
something.
kidding. Yeah, it's silly. All right, so point being, Obi-Wan here again, he's kind of building that Ben Kenobi kind of thing here, and the idea is he's watching Luke from afar because obviously he doesn't want to pollute that world. Yeah,
it's like he's building a mythos around himself.
Certainly, he's kind of building a mythos.
I wonder if they'll explain why he never changed his last name.
I wonder how commonly. I wonder if it's like there's like a Smith equivalent in Star Wars of like, like maybe Obi-Wan's like the average Joe of the Jedis, and it's just something really simple. Like Obi-Wan's the fancy part, but it's like Joe Smith, Joe Kenobi.
that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. So regardless, I mean, Obi-Wan, he's very much kind of in exile, which again is a very interesting thing with the Jedi because between Obi-Wan and Yoda, they're both kind of hermitized when we meet them in Star Wars because again, they've lost the war, they've lost the battle, and they're kind of basically they're waiting for the universe to deliver them the next move if this prophecy ever comes true. So I think, not that Obi-Wan's looking for a prophecy right now, I think he's just trying to do right by who Anakin was, which is I'm going to watch his son and make sure he does not get corrupted by his father.
And looking at the shot, it makes you kind of wonder, like, how much of it did they film, like, in an actual desert location? How much did they film using the
void?
The void.
Okay, I heard. I'm going to answer your question. Here's what I heard on Boba Fett. So now Dave Klein is, I believe, the DP on most, if not all, the episodes. I think it was like if there's 7 episodes, he was a DP on either 5 or 6 of them. He was a DP on almost all of them. I assume he was the DP on all of them but the Mando episodes. It'd be my guess. Regardless, Dave Klein, Kevin Smith's guy, he reported that it sounds like the desert stuff. Basically, every time they're on a desert, it seems because when we really saw the desert outside of like just kind of Mos Eisley, like up close, it seems that we are when we're just like in the wild deserts, like when Boba Fett's like with the Sand People. That's a real desert. That was them like for the first time in their way of shooting. They actually went to a location. Like primarily because they had to, versus like doing it on the void and just making it look really impressive. So, I mean, again, end effect is still impressive. But I'm just saying, I think when we are in the desert like this, I think it's practical. If it's not, these men are tampering with the untamed forces, man.
because I did read that that Ewan McGregor like enjoyed doing the technologies of the void and everything. Like he enjoyed filming this more than he did the trilogy that he was in.
I imagine he would, because you got to remember the big difference is you can project on the void instead of like just, it's green everywhere. I have to pretend it's like, okay, well I feel like I'm actually there, even though I don't have to be like trudging out into the desert. Which, if I recall, Phantom Menace, he was barely in that desert anyway, because he was like on the ship for pretty much the whole movie until Duel of the Fates.
And to be fair, I mean that was also made in like the late 1990s and early 2000s, so obviously technology's come a long way since then.
No, I don't have any compunction with that because I mean they shot it practically with Phantom Menace. I mean it was very little, kind of green screen everything.
Well, I do know that. Like a lot of the shots that people criticized for being green screen were actually physical locations.
Yeah, you'll never make people happy. Moral of the story, kids.
Yep. But overall, Ewan did say he enjoyed filming it overall more than he did the original, the prequels.
So, something has occurred to me, Jacob, while we're talking. Just kind of ruminating about the scene that's before us here. I think a big goal for the Obi-Wan show should be we're going to fill in the blank of why Obi-Wan is so hesitant to tell Luke about who his father really is. The whole like Anakin Skywalker died. The whole I think we're really going to fill in the blank a little bit further. I think we're going to let it sink in. Like we saw why in Revenge of the Sith, but I think we're really going to kind of let it sink in at that 10-year period, especially with kind of Vader's minions kind of gunning for him here.
It's been clear that he's been at least watching over Luke for a long time too.
Exactly. So I think there's a bond that's developing there, and again, I think the reinforcement of the bond is going to be like, I got to protect him from my fallen friend because my friend in his pure days would not want his son corrupted by who he is now, even if he won't admit it to himself. I can't let this kid fall into the dark side's hands. I can't let that happen.
All right.
All right. Okay. Let's press on here a little. Or is it believe we're about to see 10-year-old Luke here on the.
And if I'm mistaken, it looked like he had like a little, probably like a little robot buddy beside him too.
Might have, because I think R5's. I forget, R5 should be there. I wonder if that's R5.
And that's the moisture farm.
Uh-huh.
And Luke
Yeah.
pretending to drive a speed racer.
Yep. Might be a speeder bike or a pod racer.
Yeah, that not.
I wonder if the pod racing is. I wonder if the pod racing is kind of at this point in Star Wars is kind of like faded out because that was big in the prequels.
No idea. And our first good look at older
Yeah.
older Ewan.
Yep. It looks really good. He's got the full beard and everything.
Yep. And he's definitely beginning to show his age.
Yeah, but it looks good on him though.
And of course, this so-called choral music, as you see down here, is Duel of the Fates.
Which, again, very appropriate choice, especially in kind of if you're going to pick any teaser music for the Obi-Wan show, you got to go with Duel of the Fates. And reminder, John Williams, 90-year-old man that he is, coming back for the Obi-Wan show.
At least the theme, anyway. I don't think he's composing the whole series.
Oh, really?
As far as I know, he is coming back, but only for the theme, I believe.
All right. Well, that's still something. That's pretty good.
As far as I'm aware, the actual composer for this series has not been revealed yet. But the theme is still being done by John Williams.
Right.
Looks like Thanos got his hands on the Lucasfilm logo.
Looks like it. Thanos, we just made that logo, man.
Nice, cool gold color, though.
Yep. Okay, so the Inquisitor. This is pretty big, especially for the Rebels fans out there. I've not fully finished Rebels, which now I'm a little more inclined to remedy that with the Obi-Wan show's happening, and we're definitely gonna do some Rebels tie-in stuff. I was gonna wait till before Ahsoka to do Rebels, but Ahsoka's not even gonna be this year, is it?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Plus, I mean, today, I don't know if you heard about this, all sorts of movies. This is more on the WB side of things, mind you, but all sorts of things are getting moved again.
Yep.
All right.
The Grand Inquisitor did make at least this might be a different Grand Inquisitor than the one that was in Rebels, considering.
Yes, his forehead's not really a super long, which I don't know if that's a practicality thing or not, because it could always be a title that's passed down. So,
And how far are you in Rebels?
I'm pretty sure I started season 3. I think that's as far as I got.
And considering that that Inquisitor's dead.
Yeah, well, still, this is. I'm pretty sure. Is this before that, or has Rebels become before this?
I think it's around the same time, actually.
That's the thing. So this is like 10 years into it.
And besides, if they might have been able to get Corey Burford, Cad Bane, I'm sure they could have gotten Jason Isaacs for the Inquisitor, and that doesn't sound like him.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Jason Isaacs, I know, would be there in a heartbeat to be on there, practically. And so far, we've been kind of getting the actors to, kind of reprise and return for their roles. It's just a question of, I don't know. It might be a different guy. I mean, that's the thing. At this point, so the Han Solo movie happens roughly around the same time as this show. That's essentially where we're at, from what I recall. I think it was a rough estimate with Solo, but essentially it was like 10 years. It was 10 years before he meets Luke.
All right.
Presumably. So, I mean, it stands to reason, I guess, if Rebels, because if I understood it right, Rebels was the formation of the Rebel Alliance. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yeah,
which basically places it around the same time as Rogue One.
Yeah, well, Rogue One was at the end of it, though, so that doesn't, yes.
Well, a little bit before Rogue One.
Well,
I still don't think it's the same Grand Inquisitor.
All right, that's fair enough. Okay. Well, you think if it was, just given all the makeup, the impressive makeup that we've done in these shows and everything, you think they give him a larger forehead if it was the same guys? I think it's just going to be a role that's passed down, probably.
In which there he was.
Yep.
Considering how well they were able to pull off Cad Bane, I seriously don't think that's the same guy.
So something to mention. So for those who are even less initiated than I, to all the goings on of Rebels. Because I'm only at the halfway point, folks. I can't really tell you all. I can't tell you intimately how it ends.
Well, technically, you're more closer to the quarterweight, the 33 quarterweight point.
All right, fair point. So, regardless, the Inquisitors, long story short, as this trailer summarizes, the Inquisitors are essentially are Jedi hunters. These are guys who are either like they're force sensitive and or they are like, Jedi's who basically Jedi's who turn to the dark side like Vader and basically been assigned like kind of a role in the Empire, which is like, hey, use your force connections and your Sithy shtick to to hunt down Jedi's because we're trying to kill all those guys. Is that about right?
Pretty much.
I remember they were really kind of these interrogators that were going after our band of misfits, including, of course, primarily our Jedi's.
Well, there's a reason why they're called Inquisitors, after all.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So
they're like the Spanish Inquisition, only dark side.
Yeah. So here, the boss Inquisitor here, he's basically he's going on about how the key to hunting a Jedi is patience because they're compassion and they're basically these guys are compassionate wanderers. They're going to leave a trail of people that they help and probably get in the Empire's way and just sticking up for the little guy. It's going to be easy to find them. You just got to be patient and look for like the little ticks of like, oh, I got to do the right thing.
So basically, he's going to stir up some trouble to try and lure the good guys out.
Exactly.
Because this isn't exactly canon or even another Jedi, but we saw something similar like that in first episode of Visions. Remember?
Yeah.
It's like where, well, obviously the person that was drawn out was not a Jedi, but it was kind of a similar premise there.
Certainly. Okay, there are a few comments I want to read off here from Atomic Beast. Okay, so Atomic Beast brings up Obi-Wan probably carries a lot of guilt and may have to accept the Jedi way is flawed. I mean, I like to think so, but
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of one of the points of the prequels anyway.
It is, but still, I mean, the fact that Obi-Wan passes things on to Luke, and again, seemingly he's still under the impression, the Jedi way is he doesn't go into all the semantics from what we see in A New Hope in teaching Luke what the Jedi's are all about. So by that logic, there is, there's kind of a like some wiggle room of like, no, I didn't tell him. Basically, there's kind of some wiggle room that Obi-Wan didn't. Has learned something, and he's not passing along kind of the harmful, stymieing elements of the Jedi principles of like, no connections, no loved ones. But I mean, he's not Yoda. Yoda is very steeped in it, saying, no, you got to stay here, or else, they got to pick a path here, which obviously Luke took that lesson to heart later on.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Atomic Beast then goes on to say, remember, the fact that citizens turned against Jedi because they feel that they are now soldiers rather than peacekeepers. What if Obi-Wan has to face those that he and the Jedi ignored? That's an interesting idea. That again, if he's recognized as a Jedi, and especially if people are like, "Wait a minute, they're looking for you, lightsaber. What's going on here, man?" There might be some prequel-y kind of bad blood between them. Big question: will Hondo show up?
I don't think we're going to see Darth Maul, but I think we are definitely going to see. I think we hopefully see Hondo anyway.
I mean, at this point, when Darth Maul got killed at the end of Rebels, didn't he?
Yeah, and this takes place. I think that if it takes, I don't know. I mean, Darth Maul does die. I believe definitively at that point.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Is I wonder if he's still running Crimson Dawn and everything. I wonder if that's going on at this time.
I don't know about where the timeline would be in regards to this versus that, but it would be interesting to see Hondo show up in all this. Like, hey, Obi-Wan, my friend.
It would be a great. Jacob, wouldn't that be a wonderful episode where you have just like it's a rather kind of somber story and kind of maybe a little tense and somber, but you have like an episode of levity and just kind of Obi-Wan kind of like dipping into the old life with Hondo and kind of bouncing back, kind of being able to voice his concerns and his guilt off of a guy who's going to kind of maybe get a little bit of a pep talk. I like to think that'd be Hondo. Also, land him in a boatload of trouble.
We have yet to see Hondo in live action. I mean, they brought like so many other characters from the Clone Wars into live action. Hondo has to be one of the next ones.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and of course they're good. They would get Jim Cummings to voice him. I mean, they can't not have him.
Yeah, I mean, after what we did with Cad Bane, it's like impossible. Like, come on, how do you not like? We literally had like a whole thing at like one of the theme parks. It gives you like a Hondo thing where it's a body and they just the voice of Jim Cummings. Why not?
Like, yep, they kind of have to at this point. Like, I mean, I know Filoni's not involved in this series at all, but I know Filoni and the crew aren't really involved in this series or anything.
Well, regardless, Hondo's got to show up in one of these live-action Star Wars shows. If it's not here, it's got to be Mando Season 3. It's got to be something. Maybe Ahsoka, but let's just say Mando Season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I believe, did we glimpse Uncle Owen already? Did I miss that?
Not in this, not so far we've gotten.
Right, so again, this is just the Inquisitor going on about the Jedi's. It's like that little nervous tick, man. They're going to want to do the right thing and be compassionate. That's when you strike.
And this is like him aboard some kind of, almost looks like either transport or maybe even a prison barge of some kind.
Possibly, yeah.
Considering they're not in, I don't think anybody's chained up, so I think it just might be like a standard transport. So,
yeah.
Okay. Nice contrast, though, between like the harshness of the desert and the impeccable cleanliness of the Empire.
Yeah, look at those floors shine, man. Look at that.
It looks like they're underwater.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I mean, which makes sense considering that one of the shots we just saw, the building is jutting out of the water.
Yeah, they are seaside, so it's possible.
And this
we saw the Inquisitor's base earlier. It was like in a body of water, so it's possible.
Yep. You can the Sith and the Inquisitors definitely build their bases in some very hard to reach places. Like yeah. Darth Vader's base is in basically a lava planet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a pretty dark shot.
Yeah, we've hanged somebody, whether they're a Jedi or someone accused of being a Jedi, like a witch hunt. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's actually pretty disturbing.
Yeah. So really, do we have like hanging deaths in Star Wars? I mean, can you think of it?
I mean, a lot of people either getting blasted or decapitated or getting a planet blown up on them.
I mean, we've strangled somebody, but we've never did like a hangman's noose or anything. Like we strangled Jabba the Hutt to death.
It's like we've strangling. We've had shooting. Like I said, we've had explosions. That had planets being destroyed.
All right, so Tom Beast in the comments says, "Really? I thought the reason the Jedi fell was because they lost compassion." Well, I mean, it's you gotta remember though. Again, the Jedi are very much kind of like samurai wanderers to a degree, in which they go to they see something that's not fair, it's not right, not just. They're going to intervene. Now, whether they're not going to make personal attachments or forge personal connections. That was the thing, is that the humanity. Like basically people with a duty, almost like a Green Lantern or something, which you kind of take a vow, you have a duty, you have a job. Like, okay, if I run across trouble, it is my duty to, almost like the Bushido Code to a degree. I got to warn them, and then I'm going to take them out. Where in the case of, again, it's very samurai-esque with the Jedi, but again, they can't put down roots. They can't have families because, again, they're answering to the cause. So I think it's more humanity than compassion you're thinking of with Tom Beast. I could be wrong, but you might. Again, the point, even if it is the case, that's the Inquisitors saying that. And also, Jedi are very hypocritical. So even if they say we're compassionate, they don't fully mean it.
Yeah, I mean, the truth. If one thing the prequels did show, it shows that they can kind of be self-righteous at times.
Exactly, the Jedi are deeply flawed. That we know. I mean, that's what gives us a Vader. It's like, okay, we could have been like a little nicer. I mean, Obi-Wan was cool with him having a wife, having like a secret wife on the side. Why do we got to come down on him for it?
Well, Anakin kind of did love too hard though, and that was most of his problem.
He did, but I tell you, man, in Clone Wars particularly. I love that romance, man. I hate the movies; it was terrible. But in that show, I grew such an appreciation for Anakin and Padme. I mean, oh my God, they're secretly married and they're like each other, but they can't really act on it. But it's adorable.
Yeah.
All right.
And of course, speaking of which, I wonder if this will address Obi-Wan's romance.
Well, I mean, Obi-Wan's love interest is dead. So
well, I know, but there might be a reference.
Oh well, yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Like who knows? He might meet her sister.
Yeah, Bo-Katan showed up in this. Be really cool.
It's like that because that was her sister.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be addressed in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This, do you know who this lady, this woman is?
Well, she's gonna be one of like the main, kind of the main disciples of the Inquisitor. It's I don't know if it's like her name's like Riva or something. It's something. She's basically like one of the lead Inquisitors.
All right.
New character, I think, for the thing, perhaps.
And here's
And there's
Uncle Owen.
and not just any Uncle Owen, folks. That is Uncle Owen from the prequels. They got Joel Egerton, I believe, is the actor. He came back for the role of Owen Lars
They also got the woman who played Aunt Beru back too.
for no added charge.
Yep. But
Yeah.
it's pretty neat that they were able to like get all the original people from the people that played them for this series.
So the pressure's definitely on for Obi-Wan to basically that if he steps out and if he gives himself away, it's a matter of time, and I'm sure Owen is not going to be thrilled about it because the dynamic that I've seen, and mind you, again, a lot of this is kind of from that fan film I told you about, which basically kind of tees up like this whole literally this premise of like it's kind of like Luke's a kid at this point, and Obi-Wan's kind of like arm's length with him, but he kind of stops by now and again as like the strange hermit guy who passes through town, and he kind of talks with Owen, and the dynamic that they imply there, and we'll see if they do that sort of thing here, is that he's familiar. He and Owen have kind of a contentious relationship, in that the longer you're here, the more that kid's in danger. Like either pick a lane, either stay here full time, like be in the kid's life, or don't. Okay, because it's really weird, and again might bring some danger, and that danger, of course, is in the form of the Inquisitors.
Yep.
I forget the name of this planet. This is a different place. We're not on Tatooine in these shots. We're on like it's Dea or something. Some new planet, kind of like Trade World from Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It looks like a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the name either, with the name of this planet either. But this is the kind of like these shots in particular are the ones that kind of gave me that espionage vibe.
So real quick, let me Tiki, our buddy Tiki. He's in the comments. Let's see. So again, he's had a kind of maybe not a not so great day at work, part of the course. And then he says, "I'm really looking forward to Uncle Owen in particular. I think it's a shame he wasn't in the prequels more, because they pretty much saved him until the second and third ones, and it's very bit parts. I mean, I think the most they got to do was in the second one, and sand, it's everywhere. It gets everywhere. It's coarse. It's rough. I don't like it."
That was Anakin.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I know it's like Anakin say. That's pretty much what's your takeaway. Hey, Uncle Owen, and that brings us to we're on Tatooine again, and we're talking about sand.
Yeah.
So again, he could have been a really big character. Yeah, I mean that's kind of something cool we can do here. We can add layers to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru before they get charbroiled, which is always appreciated.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I know it's not intentional, but this logo here kind of reminds me of Mass Effect, the whole N7 thing. I know it's not exactly an N, but it just kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah.
But it was these shots overall that kind of gave me the espionage kind of vibe. That
a little Skyfall-esque. Yeah, I got you. All right, let's press on here.
Almost like a futuristic cyberpunk kind of thing.
Oh, for sure, it's definitely. I mean, I keep going with like something like it because I like how closed in it looks. It looks a little like Trade World, which basically was kind of like a dingy version of Coruscant, like a very crime-ridden version, like the crime alley version of Coruscant is like what Trade's World is like in Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It seems like kind of like that.
Almost kind of like Blade Runner in a way.
That's the simpler and better comparison, yeah.
I mean, that's like the biggest cyberpunk thing I can think of.
No, you're right. I think it sums it up nicely. Yeah.
And it would be kind of interesting for Star Wars to kind of take that genre on.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people were kind of like more so with kind of with some of the cyberpunk stuff and the less cyberpunk, I guess, more like kind of steampunk meets cyberpunk. I don't know if that's the proper terminology. Kind of the updated version of with the mods in Boba Fett. Which I'm alone in liking, by the way, because everyone gets like, the bike color's really off. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, did you like the mods? Weren't they? Anyway, sorry, we're drifting. I'm drifting off focus. My point is, like kind of going a cyberpunk direction could work.
Yeah. Empire lady.
Empire lady. Yes, an Imperial officer.
Yes. You know what I meant.
Yes. Yes, but yeah, seriously, just good subtlety, like kudos for the Empire at this point in the timeline. Just like we're being inclusive, man. Female Imperial officers, let's do it. Let's get more of that in there. Yeah, it's not all British guys.
Everybody has to die equally, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're equal opportunity oppressors,
yeah.
as in they'll oppress you with equal opportunity.
Yet then again, right here we have just like the Obi-Wan's practically itching to like to kind of stop this injustice that's going on here, and lands himself into a bit of trouble, it seems. Oh, and the Inquisitor doing his spinning lightsaber trick, which is always cool.
Yeah. Lightsaber itself is doing the spinning, like he built the
Yeah,
spinning mechanism.
that's nice.
Like I said, it's also this that I forget, did the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels do the spinning? They have the spinning one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I don't. Right? It's been a while since I've seen Rebels.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I know we had like one with the circular design on it, and I'm pretty sure like it did everything you're seeing here.
Because you could have like one with a circular design and just spin it really fast yourself.
That's the thing. I can't remember if I don't know if he's pushing a button or if he did it on his own. Okay, so here's a question for you, Jacob. Tiki asks, I know very little about this guy. Is he worth getting excited about?
Which
The Inquisitor.
Well, I mean, like I said, this might be a different Inquisitor from the one we're familiar with, the one that was played by Jason Isaacs in Rebels.
There's a much cooler Inquisitor in Rebel. We don't know. This guy could be also really menacing. But the point being, there is another Inquisitor who was kind of the go-to Inquisitor.
He kind of looks like a Japanese Ronin kind of character.
Yeah, well, a little bit, yeah.
Well, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima,
right
lately, and like he kind of has like that whole straw hat, like that kind of thing, like almost like a samurai. Samurai Jack actually wore one a couple times too.
Oh, I wore him a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, so
he liked that hat.
Yeah, and he liked that hat too.
Okay,
but it just it kind of reminds me of that. Like,
yeah,
his whole shot kind of looks like a Neo future Japan kind of thing.
Oh yeah, there's definitely that's another really cool thing with this planet that we're on right now. It's definitely feeding into kind of the Kurosawa. It's kind of a modern day Kurosawa, yet we're in the past. It kind of works somehow.
Yep, I mean, the whole series is kind of, as a whole, was kind of influenced by his work, so it only makes sense to homage him as much as you can.
Oh, for sure, but again, in different ways, which is impressive.
Yep. Like I said, I don't know if this is a guy you should be excited for. I mean, if he's anything like the Inquisitor from Rebels, it could be because he was like a very interesting character.
I mean, on principle, though, I mean, an Inquisitor is nothing to sneeze at, whether it is the guy or not. It's like, oh my god, these guys are born and bred Jedi hunters, and this guy, and again, look at this lightsaber. That's an intimidating lightsaber. We haven't seen that since Darth Maul, and that's saying something. It's like I think it's something to get excited about.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are multiple different kinds of Inquisitors. Like, obviously, ones that are ranked higher than the others, and we don't know where on the hierarchy this guy is.
Yeah, they get together. They say, hey, look at my kill count. Nothing compared to your kill count, huh?
And it's revealed that lady what did you say her name was?
I don't know if it's Reva or something. The point being, this is like one of the Inquisitor's flunkies.
And that she then reveals that she has a red lightsaber of her own.
Yes. So again, presumably like an Inquisitor in training or like about to be promoted to like basically another Inquisitor. It's essentially what you get.
Something that was also kind of seen in Jedi Fallen Order as well.
Yeah, basically the Inquisitors really got flushed out, from what I understand, in Fallen Order.
And this guy over here is just kind of sitting casually, like, okay, this lady has a red lightsaber on my face. What should I do?
Play dead.
So he doesn't even react to it. He just sits there, like, okay, she isn't messing with me, so I'll just sit here and continue drinking.
Yeah.
These mysterious symbols.
Yep.
The classic Alleyways Shot, and some kind of.
Okay, now this is something people have been speculating on. Of course, that blaster, the composition of this shot, it could just be coincidental and aesthetic, but a lot of people, and the timeline would match up on this actually. Alden Ehrenreich Han Solo. It wouldn't. Again, it'd be a thing. Here's the thing: if this is Han Solo, I'm betting it's a cameo of like, "Hey, are you a Jedi? Do I look like a Jedi?" Something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Shootout on the rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Got some weird alien birds.
Disturbing pigeons on rooftops.
Yep, yep.
Hope survives.
So again, the whole "hope survives" thing seems to be kind of the big tagline for this teaser. And here's something to bear in mind with this Obi-Wan show. This show has somewhat of an insurmountable kind of uphill battle because we know Obi-Wan's going to be fine. We know we're not killing Obi-Wan from the start here. But again, you could say the same thing about Better Call Saul. We know he's not going to get killed. We know he's going to be fine.
It's not about this. Not about the journey. It's the destination.
Exactly, and again, I'm thinking if we just kind of fill in the blanks of like why Obi-Wan's protective of Luke and like what it's like him dealing with the failures of what happened between him and Anakin and just the whole Jedi Order and the prequels, and there's a lot to tell in the transition from point A to point B that I think nowadays gets lost in the shuffle. That I mean, if this show goes great, goes a little better than the last recent Star Wars endeavor. Not that it was bad, but it definitely could have gone a little better. If this thing goes off without a hitch, or at least goes off really, really well, again, we could really explore explore the side that is lost to war, and the resonancy of that, and see where we're going to go with. Again, see the human flaws in a Star Wars project of like, yeah, we goofed up and I don't know what to do next. And I'm going to figure out my place in the universe. Maybe it's linked to this kid. Maybe it's not. Maybe I should go take out Vader while I have some juice left in me. Maybe I shouldn't. Like, we're going to explore that sort of stuff. It could be interesting and see why Obi-Wan. Again, we're filling in the blanks of A New Hope. Why is Obi-Wan hermetized? And how do we... It's like I see a lot of creative opportunities here. I don't know if we're going to deliver on all of that. I mean, I hope we do. But... we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it's just hopefully just doesn't turn to one of those things where like people hype it up so much in their own heads and it would be impossible to live up to it regardless of what they do.
Yep.
Because you know how that always goes.
Mixed results.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, this is why a lot of these projects don't reveal anything about them because and then people like make all these like assumptions about them, and when they don't deliver, like you promised, like they never promised anything.
All right, let's go back to the route.
Okay, first off, let's see this.
Yep.
And cool Disney Plus logo.
Yeah, the lightsaber, very impressive.
Yep.
All right, we got one last comment, and I guess we'll just round it out here. Tiki asks, are the Inquisitors related to Order 66? I mean, they're kind of a response to Order 66. They're basically on cleanup duty for any of the straggler Jedis.
Because Order 66 was, as was discussed, as was demonstrated in the Clone Wars, was actually put into the clones because of a chip that they had. Like the clones were the ones that were supposed to take out the Jedi.
Yeah.
Basically, obviously, powerful ones survived, so the Inquisitors are there to clean up whoever might be left.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they do have a pretty good success rate.
That they do.
I mean, obviously, they don't get everybody, but if they do set their sights on them, they're not going to rest until either they themselves or their target are dead.
There's a reason there's only a handful of Jedi left.
Yes. Because, like I said, basically, they won't stop until either the Jedi are dead or they themselves are dead. They're basically Terminators.
Yep. All right, that brings us to the end, and folks, you know us. We'll be recapping the episodes of Obi-Wan when it comes out. As they come out weekly, I assume, because Disney just can't get on board like release it all. No, we're going to release it week to week because we're convinced people won't watch the show unless we do that.
I think it's
So
more. I think it's more like to. I actually prefer it that way when it comes to this kind of stuff, like because it drives conversation and hype.
yeah, I mean, I think in some cases, some shows it's worked better than others, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Can you imagine? Can you think that Mando would achieve such hype that it did if it didn't? If it just released all at once?
Let me put it this way: I don't think it would have I think it would have achieved probably the same amount of hype, but not the longevity of that hype. I don't think it would have been like, did you see that Mandalorian show? It was amazing. And then after the initial, let's say, a month or two of like, oh, it was great, then it would have kind of died down. But no, it's like Mando's still going really strong.
Yeah. So I think that the whole weekly release is paid off.
I mean, that said, though, Boba Fett really could have premiered the first two episodes, and I think it would have, might have kind of turned that show around to a degree. Wouldn't have saved it, but it would have turned it around. That's what I'm saying. There's a question of like, are we going to have like a solid enough first episode, or is it going to be a thing of like, man, I really wish I had two.
All right.
Like WandaVision should have been 3 episodes, but it was only two in the premiere. It's like that sort of thing.
Oh well.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
All right, and that does it. Let's thank the folks for tuning in. Of course, Tiki, who is basically on the sidelines here, and we have Atomic Beast. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you when this show actually premieres for real on the 25th.
Yeah, may the Force be with you in May.
Yes. Goodbye now.